Okay, so the gun split close formation is one of the best formations in the game this year, and this is the first formation I want to really touch on out of the Arizona playbook. So the first play, of course, we're going to talk about is the close halfback wheel. In some playbooks, this might just be called the halfback wheel, but you know, this can translate to other playbooks as well because the split close is in quite a few playbooks. So the halfback wheel, I have a ton of different ways that I like to run this play. It's just such a versatile play, so I'm going to break down all of those different ways in this video. So the first way we want to talk about is if you're on the right hash. If you're on the right hash, what I like to do is drag B. Now this is just like my stock halfback wheel setup. If I'm on the right hash, just drag B, and it's very simple. Now the thing I love about this play really is the route by the RB, the table route. This route is really deadly this year, and it just gets open. You have to play underneath coverage pretty much to stop this route. So you'll see here, this is a cover 3, and you can just quick pass this, boom. Even though it's on the short side of the field, look, we got almost 12 yards. Even though we're on the short side of the field, it has to be your first read. You have to, that's what you have to look to. That's always going to be your first read. Because if you wait a little bit too late, he's going to go out of bounds, and you're going to get like 2 yards or get an incomplete pass, whereas you see now we're catching it and even one cutting up the field for a huge gain. Here we'll show cover 2, and the good thing with cover 2 is like this drag will kind of suck the cloud flat inside just a little bit, allowing us to do the same thing. You see here, and then we one cut it up the field. We almost went out there, but we still, the one cut's really nice because if you hold the right trigger or the R2 button right when you catch the ball and go upfield, you're going to get that speed burst. I want to go to the replay here just to show this. So first off, notice, like I said, and this is Xavier Rhodes, I believe. Okay, this is actually Trey Waynes. But either way, you see how he sucks inside? He kind of dips inside a little bit with that drag route. He dips inside, and that leaves Kamara all this space on the outside to work with. This is why this has to be your first read. You need to read it quick, throw it. We almost went out there, but what we did here, we caught the ball. I held the left joystick all the way to the left, and I held the sprint button or turbo, and you see how he kind of bounces and one cuts up the field, and we go ahead and we get to about 9 yards before contact was made. We were able to get like an extra yard after the contact, but 9 yards before contact was made, which was very good. So, you know, and even if they run man, a lot of times this table route will get good position on a man defender. Not always, but a lot of times, like you see there, we got about 4 yards. Now, if I read man, this is typically not where I'm going to go. If I see the linebacker just shoot out there and follow him, there's better routes on this play to hit. But just showing you that you can, you know, hit this versus man. And if he gets, that's another really glitchy thing about this route. Sometimes the route gets caught up a little bit like that, but it actually helps you when that happens. So watch what happens here. This actually helps create separation. So notice here, you see how the route, you see how he kind of runs into the DN. He doesn't really run into him, but the way the game's programmed, he kind of like does this little side step when he gets by the DN. But what this does is it makes the linebacker stop, and then look at the separation we got there. And we were able to turn that upfield and got, again, 9 to 10 yards. So it does work against man, but yes, if I read man, typically that's not where I'm going to go. If I read man, you know, we have better routes on the field. So here is a man defense, of course. I mean, you're going to get crazy inside position with this drag route. And this is Cam Meredith. He's not like an elite receiver by any means. And he's getting, you know, good inside position against Trey Waynes, who is one of the faster cornerbacks in the game. Now, obviously, again, if you have man, if you have a good route runner on the post, this is going to usually do well against man. There, Xavier Rhodes actually defended it pretty well, but we'll run it again. I think I didn't really bullet past that well enough, but you can see if you pass it to the inside, I mean, you get position against man. So usually that's where I put my best wide receiver just because of that post route. You want a good route runner there. Probably your second best route runner where Ted Ginn is. And again, you know, if you see man, sometimes you're going to have the ability to hit the corner route as well. It just depends on the separation. See, like right there, he didn't get good separation. You know, I'm just kind of just throwing the ball away here. But you see you have different routes you can hit. You have the table route that gets open against man, the drag, the post. The corner is like a last-ditch effort. I usually don't really look to the corner route that often in this play unless they're playing underneath coverage. So here, you know, if they start shading underneath, you know, because they're worried about you just quick passing that table route, well, at that point, you know, that's when, you know, all these other routes open up for you. And that was a cover 3 there. That's one thing about this play is if you run a cover 3 against this play, a lot of times you're going to open up, especially if you shade underneath, you're going to open up the ability, you know, for that route to get wide open as it kind of crosses over like that. because that safety is never going to like truly defend it. So if they shade underneath, you're always going to have those type of options. And if they don't shade underneath, and let's say maybe they start using the table route or something, I mean, you always have your drag over the middle. The drag is just a trusty option that you can use over the middle. So that's just one setup. So we're 5 minutes in, that's one setup. Now, what if we're on the left hash? This is the basic setup number 2. If we're on the left hash and we want to... Now, keep in mind, if we're on this left hash and we want to run the other setup, we can just flip it and run the same setup. Because now, if we flip it, we're back on the short side of the field. But I want to give you a setup for the short and the wide side of the field. So if you want to run this to the wide side of the field, meaning you have your table route running to the wide side, then I take B and I put him on a fade in this instance. And it's still going to pretty much react mostly the same. Again, you're going to have this wide open with a lot of room to run. So, I mean, this works on the short side and the long side. It's not, you don't have to be either way, but just showing you that it works both ways. You know, again, if they shade underneath, this is when the corner route becomes a little bit more viable, because in this setup we have the fade on that side of the field, which is going to take the deep zone, and you see they shade underneath. That's a pick your poison. If they're going to shade underneath or not shade underneath, one of those guys is going to be wide open. They're going to have to go use that, figure that out themselves. Cover 2, same thing. I mean, you're gonna have the ability to hit the table. He dropped the ball there, but we'll run it again. But the thing with the table is the table for sure works better on the short side of the field versus cover 2. If you're playing someone that runs a lot of cover 2, I would run this the previous version of this more to the short side of the field, because you still can hit the table and get good yardage, but I find that sometimes on the wide side of the field, the cloud flat does have the ability to kind of bite down and limit you to maybe 4 yards instead of before, like you saw we were getting 9. Sometimes you'll still get wide open, like the example you just saw there. Of course, you still always have the post over the middle. You want to pass it over the middle, possession, catch it. That's why you want to put a good wide receiver there. It will be a tighter window, but you're always going to have that inside position. You also have, you know, a quick pass available to Y. I mean, that's not something that I really look to too often. But if you notice your opponent is cheating over to the table route, I mean, this is a route you have to quick pass. Like, if I wait any later, then that safety can come down and make a play. But if I throw it at the right time, I can get good yards. So it's just another wrinkle of the play. It's not the main thing that I look to with this play, but just showing you that, you know, there is a quick pass there also if they don't play underneath coverage. Now, again, if they play man, now without the drag, that leaves us with one less option against man, but typically you don't see people run man too much. Now, the thing with man is, now there, Barr made a good play on it, but that's really the best that can happen against man with this, because typically, especially if you have a faster guy here, you see how he got caught up there again, and look at the difference in the separation. I love when he gets caught up like that because it just creates crazy separation. But either way, the table route is still going to work against man. It's not definitely the first read that I want to look to. Again, you see how he got caught up? It's not a fluke. When he gets caught up, he's going to create crazy separation. If you see him do that little stutter like that against man, you throw it to him every time. But again, you still have other options, obviously, on this play. You know, pass the corner out to the inside. And, of course, Xavier Rhodes is going to knock it out there. But, again, you see the inside position is there to catch the ball. So, that is the second setup. Now we're just going to go back to the middle of the field here, because these setups are not really hash mark dependent. So, there's a lot of crazy things you can do with this. So, you can take the RB. I mean, there's tons of motions you can do. You can motion him to the left, right? So, this is one setup. I'll motion him to the left. And then I take Y and I put him on a wheel route. Oh, excuse me. I actually messed up here. That's my bad. Hold on. I got a lot of setups written down. Hold on one second. Okay, so we're going to, okay. So we want to motion RB to the left. We want to put him on a flat route. And then we want to wheel the wide receiver. Now, you could technically do this out of any play, but I like doing it with this play because it's such a deadly play with the post, the corner. You got the in route. You know, if you want to put the in route on if you want to put a shorter in route, you can do that as well. But we're kind of creating a makeshift screen here. So we pass it down quickly to Y, and you see how RB gets out there and leads a block for us. Now, this isn't a home run hitting type of a setup. And you would want to run this if you're in the middle of the field. You run it to either side. If you're on, you know, if we were on the right hash here, we'd want to run this to the left. If we were on the left hash, we'd want to run it to the right, because with something like this, you want room. But you can see we just quick pass the flat. We quick pass the wheel right as he's kind of turning up, and you see the flat route gets out there and sets a block. If that flat route wasn't there, you know, maybe we get 4 yards at best here. But because of that, we created a makeshift screen, and now we got about 6.5, 7 yards. Nothing crazy, but what you're doing here is you're just creating something else that they have to worry about. So again, we'll show it. It's just a little makeshift screen. You throw it quick. He gets up there, and you see that time we got almost 10 yards. So it's another little wrinkle you can throw in with the play. Now, also keep in mind, you know, if they start using that or something, well, I mean, you have other routes you can hit. Like I said, you can have, let's say they're using that, well, you have a little check down you can hit over the middle with the in route, and you're still getting good yards with that as well. You still have a post route. If they vacate that middle of the field, if they see you do this setup, the first thing they might, once you hit them with it once or twice, they're going to over pursue, and they're going to say, oh, I'm going over there to guard that, right? So we'll take this linebacker, and we'll just man him up on Y to simulate a user running out there. But if you got a user running out there, well then, I mean, you have this over the middle, and again, Xavier Rhodes knocking the ball out. But again, it's like you're vacating that area and you're leaving something else open over the middle. So that's just something else to keep in mind with that play. If you get their user out of position, that leaves holes elsewhere. Now, another setup for this we're going to do is, let's see, we're going to motion the wheel to the left. So this is something else I really like to do. This remember the quick pass I just showed with the wheel route a couple setups ago when I said, you know, it's a little wrinkle you could throw in quick passing him? Well, the quick pass works better if you motion him out. So this is like a separate setup that I'll use. And keep in mind, other plays in this formation that we're going to break down, we utilize these same motions. So they're not always going to know what we're doing when we're motioning somebody. So we can motion him out again. You know, if we want to do something like putting B on a drag or a short in route, we can do that as well. That's, you know, completely up to you, whatever. That's kind of like a freebie on a lot of these plays, whatever kind of, you want to have a check down over the middle. So if you like a drag or an in route better, or, you know, whatever you like, you can do. But this is a really good quick pass to Y. And you're going to get, like, when I'm looking to quick pass him, I usually run this setup. Now, you can quick pass him out of other setups, but you're going to get a little bit more edge to the outside when you motion him out. And you just throw a bullet, you don't do anything crazy, and you get upfield, and you can see we're getting 8 to 10 yards pretty consistently with that. Here, I'll go to a cover 2, you know, just to be thorough and show you. The only thing you don't want to do is throw this against man. If you see the linebacker immediately get out there and follow him, boom. Now, this is really interesting against cover 2. I want you to watch what Xavier Rhodes did here. I'm going to go to the replay to show you what he did here. He sucks inside to Michael Thomas on the post. See how he sucks inside? He kind of tries to pinch him. It's just for a split second, but look at all the outside room he's giving up to Ingram here because of that. And that is a cover 2. Technically, we're throwing a flat route right there, right? We're throwing to the flat against a cover 2. But because that cloud flat's sucking inside a little bit, it's allowing us to do this, and we're able to, you know, keep in mind, Mark Ingram's not that fast. If you have a guy here that's like 93, 94 speed, you can turn that outside and pick up good yardage with that. Now, like I said, the only time you don't want to do this is against man. If you see, you know, the linebacker immediately shoot out there with them, that's how you know it's man. And then in that case, you know, you have your drag over the middle. You can, you know, pass the post on the break. So you see the linebacker immediately shoots out. Well, you know, then we just go here, hit the drag, and we're good to go. So you'd have to pay attention, but that's another little quick setup that I like with this play. A fourth setup, this is crazy. We got a lot of setups here. Is I like to take both running backs and wheel route them. Why? Because wheel routes for the running back are very, very glitchy this year. Now, again, we can take B, put him on a drag, put him on an in, whatever you like better. But the thing with wheel routes this year, they're very glitchy. If you are playing any type of cloud flat coverage, you can quick pass these for 5+ yards every time. So here we'll show, I'm going to show cover 3 with cloud flats just to show, because the purple zones will usually match them, but we'll get more to that in a minute. So here, this is a cloud flat cover 3. Cuts up the field. Now, he actually matched that there, which I'm not sure why. I think, actually, it's the, you want to focus more on the one on the right side of the field, because the right side of the field has extra wide receivers, so I don't think he's going to match this one. That's my mistake here. But see here, exactly, we throw it, we get 6 yards. They're not going to match him on that side of the field because there's another receiving option. But I still like to wheel the left running back, because if they're running a cover 2, it's going to work against cover 2. And a lot of people like to run cover 2, so you have the option on both sides versus cover 2. But again, cover 3 with cloud flat coverage. We got hit with a block shed, but you saw Kamara was open. They weren't pressing down on him. Here we'll show cover 2. And I'll show this on both sides. Again, you see nothing there. You know, we got about 7 yards. Very easy quick pass. Now, you know, if you want to block the running back because you need extra protection or something like that, you can always do that as well. Here, I'm going to show cover 2 on the other side of the field just to show you again. Quick pass to Kamara right when he cuts up. You can see again about 7, almost 8 yards. Very, very, very effective. Running back wheel routes are very good this year. Now, if it's cover 3 with the purple zones, well, now this is where I like to kind of fade the B receiver. Like if I know they're playing a lot of cover 3, if I know they have purple zones on the field, we'll just forego the check down over the middle, because what's going to happen here is, you see how the purple zone matched the wheel, and it leaves the corner wide open, leaves it naked. This is a very good concept that I'm running out of a lot of formations this year, is the combination of a corner route and a wheel route from the running back. So notice the purple zone, what it does. So we're waiting, we're reading the defense. Now normally we would throw it right here. We would throw this wheel route about right here, but we can see that the defender is coming down to match him. We see that he's coming down, and then this is what happens. The corner route is left wide open. Now, this is why I like putting the fade there, because the fade is going to open the corner more for us, because that deep corner has to respect the fade. So, usually when I run the wheel routes, it just kind of depends what I'm trying to attack. If I think they're in cover 2, I'll have a check down over the middle. If I think they're in cover 3, or I'm just not sure, then I'll put him on a fade, because, again, he's going to come down, he's going to match this. We got hit with the block shed, but you can see the corner route, again, was running wide open. We'll go right back to the replay just in case you didn't see it. And you can see the corner route, again, running wide open. We're trying to pass lead that to the sideline, but we got hit with a block shed. So, it's very glitchy against cloud flat coverage. And then, of course, if they're already just by default shading underneath, because, we do have a lot of flat patterns that we're just killing them with in this formation. So, if they're just shading underneath, well, they're just going to jump down sooner. And then, again, you still have the corner route, easy money, make a move, make a touchdown. So, that is the halfback wheel. I'm going to show one more just little brief thing. This isn't really like a setup that I run like that, but it's something I've noticed. When you motion this guy over and you leave him on this route, he gets kind of like he runs really fast. Just watch how fast Kamara runs. Like it's really crazy how fast he runs. And it's something you see more when you actually play the game. I don't know if it's just like a bug or whatever, but this is something I do every now and then. It creates a really nice... It's kind of like more like a drag route, but a little bit deeper. But he runs it so quick that like he just blows by a lot of the coverage. And it's something I'll mix in here or there. It's not really a main setup, but just kind of something I'm throwing in there just to show you. And then again, if they bite down on that, you would just throw the corner route, or you can always, the great thing about this play and this formation is people have to worry about that post every play. That the post becomes so much of a decoy with this formation. People know that post is deadly, so they're always, anytime somebody sees this formation, their first thought is, let me watch for that post route. So anytime you're in this, you kind of have a little bit of an edge on your opponent just because of that, because they're always focused on that, which opens up these little dump down passes and opens up the corner routes. And it's going to open up other plays that we're going to break down in the next videos as well, because they're always so worried about that post route because it can be so deadly. So this is the halfback wheel, and I will see you in the next video.